Welcome to MojoPlays, and today we're counting down our picks for the weapons, items and other gear from across Soulsborne games that are mighty tricky to get your hands on.
Before we begin, we publish new content all week long, so be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos.
Pure Bladestone, Demon Souls. Any Demon Slayer worth their salt is going to need to upgrade their blades if they want to cut their way to victory against the endless tirade of monsters lurking around every corner. And in that regard, having an ore on hand to sharpen its stats is always welcome. The only issue with Pure Bladestone is that the minimal drop rate is obscene. Only 2 skeletons have a chance of having it on them at any given time, and even then, you need to make sure your tendency is leaning towards the pure black side to have any hope of it possibly appearing. Have fun farming! Obsidian Greatsword, Dark Souls. The chance to snag a rare weapon from a boss, no matter how difficult, is a challenge most Souls players are more than happy to undertake. Except here it's not whether or not you can kill the enemy, it's how. As one of the better greatswords you can hope to get your hands on, you might think it worth tangoing with Black Dragon Calamite. Save for the fact that in order to unlock it, you need to go out of your way to cut off Calamite's tail. This is not easy. Patience is a virtue, since baiting the right move out of the dragon can be an arduous one. More often than not, Calamite is either going to bathe you in flames or curse you with calamity. Ghostblade, Dark Souls. If this weapon strikes your fancy, then prepare to go ghost hunting, because the only chance of snagging it is to keep on taking down banshees. Not only are these enemies annoying to cut down at the best of times, but there are only 2 of them in the entire game, while the Ghostblade itself has a 1% chance of dropping upon their demise. Which means you're going to be leaping in and out of the New Londo ruins ad nauseum. Illusory Rings, Dark Souls 2. Given their similarities, we're grouping both of these items together. Let's be honest, if you're going for one, you're likely going for the other as well. Both the Illusory Ring of the Conqueror and Illusory Ring of the Exalted demand you to defy death. Only earned after you beat an entire run of the game without dying once, and without using any of the bonfires. With the ability to turn your weapons invisible, you have to wonder if it's worth the pain. Tailbone Spear, Dark Souls 3. For those of you who fancy yourselves collectors of every weapon in a Dark Souls game, or for some reason you just really like the look of this particular piece, then good luck, because the Tailbone Spear is not easily snatched. For one thing, you're dealing with wretches, who are few and far between and can be a nightmare to kill at the best of times. The fact they lurk in the Betrothal dungeon, one of the hardest areas to navigate in the game, is just salt in the wound. Combine that with a low drop rate, and you're going to be spending a lot of time getting up close with these abominations and their penchant for stabbing. Harp, Dark Souls 3. The Undead Settlement is not a fun place to linger. The locals are bloodthirsty, love to hide in the shadows, and seem to have no end to them. Still, if for some reason you've been dying to get your hands on one of the weakest weapons in the game, then you're going to have to hunt around for a particular Peasant Hollow, one with glowing red eyes. Even then, with only a 2% drop rate, you're likely going to be spending a serious amount of time in this dilapidated undead cult compound. Ring of Betrothal, Bloodborne. While certain types of blood gems are arguably Bloodborne's rarest items, given the randomization of their stats, it's difficult to quantify their rarity in the hierarchy of it all. Hence, we're going for an item that you can in fact earn through strategy, but it's going to cost you a lot of time and effort regardless. After unlocking Fumeru Ithil Root Chalice Dungeon, you have to navigate through its various layers, filled to the brim with enemies. If you succeed in finding a sarcophagus amidst the chaos, you'll find the Ring of Betrothal, allowing you to propose to Annalise, Queen of the Vile Bloods, where you'll be instantly rejected. Ouch.
We have little need of a consort. Such a path would belike lead to further ruin.
Another's memory, Tengu. Sekiro, shadows die twice. Given how its mechanics are fundamentally different from others in FromSoft's catalogue, hunting down items, weapons, and attire isn't really baked into Sekiro's bones. That being said, thanks to some DLC, there are a set of costumes that can be unlocked, one of which being the Tengu skin. So, how do you unlock it? You have to beat the Gauntlet of Strength Severance, aka a boss rush featuring the heaviest hitters in the game. The Guardian Ape, Corrupted Monk, Genichiro, Great Shinobi Owl, and Sword Saint Ishin. One after another. Better become a parry god quickly or get ready to die a lot. Black Dumpling, Elden Ring. Aside from offering a few bonuses when infected with madness, there's little this helm can offer. And yet, it has one of the lowest drop rates in the entire game, 0.5%. Even farming for it's a slog, since it only spawns from a few specific types of Albinoric enemies upon death. So unless you're a colossal fan of rummaging around the darkest corners of Castle Sol and the royal capital, waiting for a couple of pale husks to re-emerge, this dumpling will prove to be your sanity's downfall. Monk's Flameblade, Elden Ring. A 4% drop rate might sound like a marked improvement from other items, and for a curved sword with a slick as hell design, what could possibly be the downside? Well, there's the fact it only appears after defeating one specific fire monk. Just one, among the entire rabble. Not helped by the fact the nearest site of grace isn't exactly a hop and a skip away, which means the amount of back and forth is potentially going to be immense, depending on your luck of the draw. Which of these rare Souls items do you proudly own? Let us know in the comments.